Gonorrhea. It's a word we've all probably heard, but let's be honest, it's usually surrounded by a lot of mystery and misinformation. So, in the next few minutes, we're going to cut through all that noise and get straight to what you need to know about this incredibly common and, increasingly dangerous infection. Let's jump right in.
I want to start with just one number, 3 million. That's the estimated number of new gonorrhea cases in the US every single year. But here's the really wild part. Only about a third of those cases ever get officially reported. And that huge gap between what's really happening and what the data shows, well, that's where our story begins.
So that brings us to our first section, an invisible threat. You have to ask, how can an infection be that widespread, yet so many cases just fly under the radar? Well, the answer is that gonorrhea often works in secret.
Okay, so first things first, what are we actually talking about here? Gonorrhea, and it's pronounced gonorrhea, is a bacterial STI. The bug that causes it loves to attack the warm, moist mucous membranes, the kind of tissue found in the reproductive tract, and also in places like the throat or rectum.
It really only spreads in two main ways, through sexual contact and from an infected mother to her baby during childbirth. And hey, let's just bust a huge myth right now. No, you cannot get gonorrhea from a toilet seat or a towel or sharing a cup. That bacteria is super fragile outside of the human body. It dies almost instantly when it's exposed to air.
All right, on to our next section, signs and silence. This really gets to the heart of one of the biggest problems with gonorrhea, the major disconnect between actually having the infection and knowing you have it. Let's talk about what you might feel, and maybe more importantly, what you probably won't.
Before we dive in, let's just clarify two words that get thrown around a lot. A sign is something objective, something a doctor can actually see. A symptom is what you feel. It's your personal experience of pain or discomfort. And with gonorrhea, that difference is, well, it's everything.
And this is where things get really, really different. For men, the infection usually makes its presence known and loud. We're talking pretty obvious signs, like a heavy discharge or pain when urinating. But for women, the infection often just whispers. The symptoms can be super mild, easily brushed off as a simple bladder infection, or in a whole lot of cases, there are no symptoms at all.
And let's put a number on that silence, because it's pretty staggering. As you can see here, as many as 80%, that's 4 out of every 5 women with gonorrhea, have zero symptoms. Or the symptoms are so mild they just don't notice them. This is exactly why it's called a silent infection, and it's the #1 reason it spreads so easily.
So this is the main takeaway, and it's a direct quote from our source material. A large number of people who are infected do not have signs or symptoms. These people may not realize that they have gonorrhea, but they can still pass the bacteria to their sex partner. You see? That right there? That's the engine driving this whole thing.
Okay, section 3, the long-term risks. So if it's often silent, you might be thinking, what's the big deal? Well, the danger isn't in the immediate discomfort, but in the serious and often permanent damage that can happen when the infection is just left to do its thing unchecked.
And let's be really clear about this. An untreated gonorrhea infection is absolutely not harmless. It can lead to some really severe and irreversible health problems.
The consequences can be just devastating, and they can start from the moment of birth. An infected mother can pass the bacteria to her baby during delivery, which can cause a really nasty eye infection, one that can actually lead to permanent blindness.
For women, an untreated infection can travel up from the cervix into the reproductive organs and cause a serious condition called pelvic inflammatory disease, or PID. And PID is no joke. It can cause chronic pain, life-threatening pregnancies, and in the worst cases, it can cause permanent infertility. So, when you look at the data, it's pretty clear who's most at risk. Just look at this graph. See those bars for people aged 15 to 24? They are just towering over every other age group for both men and women.
All right, on to our next section, a growing resistance. So, as if a silent infection with serious long-term risks wasn't enough to worry about, we are now facing a newer and frankly a much scarier problem. The bacteria are getting smarter than our medicine.
For a long time, gonorrhea was actually pretty easy to treat with basic antibiotics. But this chart here, which shows data leading up to 2006, paints a pretty worrying picture. See that dark blue bar? That represents resistance to a common antibiotic called Cipro. And as you can see, it just keeps climbing and climbing and climbing. The bacteria were evolving.
And that trend of resistance, it hasn't slowed down. It's actually accelerated. The situation has gotten so bad that the CDC has now classified drug-resistant gonorrhea as an urgent threat. That is its highest possible level of concern. What that means is we're facing a future where we could literally run out of medicines that work. Okay,
Section 5. Knowledge is your defense. I know we've laid out a lot of pretty heavy stuff, the silent threat, the long-term risks, but the point of this explainer isn't just to sound the alarm. It's to give you the tools to protect yourself. So it's time to shift from the problem to the solution.
And now for the absolute most important piece of good news in this whole conversation. Despite that growing challenge of resistance, gonorrhea is still 100% curable. The key is catching it early and getting the right treatment.
So what are the big takeaways? What can you actually do? Well, it really comes down to 3 things. 1, since you can't count on having symptoms, you have to get tested to know your status. 2, using condoms correctly and consistently works really well to reduce the risk. And 3, and this is so important, if you get diagnosed and you're given antibiotics, you have to take all of them, even if you start to feel better, to make sure that infection is totally gone for good.
So we've seen how this infection thrives in silence, the serious risks it carries down the line, and this urgent threat of antibiotic resistance. But we've also seen that the best defense is knowledge, and that this thing is both preventable and curable. So as we wrap this up, the question isn't just about what you learned today, but what you're going to do with that knowledge to protect your own health.